Hey guys, welcome to the adventures of the Sotos. So in my previous video, I shared with you guys that we have, exciting news coming up for you. And I think it's time to share the most impacting, biggest news that we have in this season of our lives. No, we are not pregnant, because that seems to be everyone's first guess. I know we make cute babies and I know everyone wants to have more babies, but we are on hold on that right now. The big news, ready, drum roll, is that we are moving out of state. So scary. Should I tell you guys where now, or should that be another video? Let me backtrack a little bit. Maybe I'll start telling you guys this. Let me start telling you guys the story, and then I'll tell you at the end where we're moving to. Okay, let's backtrack to when I was pregnant with our firstborn. We were in an apartment in Glendale Heights, and we loved it there. My husband started his new job when we moved in there in September, got married in November. So in September, we didn't get married in November. What? We got married in October. So we moved in September, but we were switching off on who stayed during the week in September. Sometimes no one stayed, but we just wanted to have a place, for our wedding night, to already have a home to go to. Okay, we officially both came home together on our wedding night on October 8th. Okay, we took a trip to Texas in November for Thanksgiving, and the night that we were coming back home, my husband and I we went to Dallas, Fort Worth to visit his family, but then we drove down to San Antonio to visit my family. And the night that we were leaving, we actually drove from San Antonio back to Dallas to pick up his family and then drive home. But before we headed home, we stopped by where his grandmother was staying. And we went to say goodbye to her and asked for her blessing. And she blessed us. She said that the Lord may be with us on our way home, and that He may watch over us and bless us with many great things. And I truly believe in the prayers and blessings of grandparents and parents, and I generally believe that, other than it being God's will, her blessing allowed us to come home and become pregnant with our firstborn. In beginning of December, mid-December, we found out we were pregnant. And my job just wasn't gonna work out with being pregnant, so I lost my job. Long story short, we weren't prepared for something like that. A week before our firstborn was gonna be born, we had to move in with my in-laws, just to help us out while I can work, right? And then when my baby was 6 months, I became pregnant again, and I would work here and there. Okay, I would work even throughout my pregnancy with my first one. I worked. I waitressed, and I worked at a Dunkin' Donuts, and I did that up to a month before I had her. There was days where I would start work as a waitress at 10 a.m., get out at 3, start my Dunkin' job at 5, and get out till 10. But it wasn't working out, and I think we all go through struggles. And I think when people go through struggles, especially me being in that situation, then is we can't judge. We can't judge where people end up. For us, it was probably one of our lowest times. And no matter what people go through, I think you cannot judge them in their lowest times, because you don't know their circumstances. It may look like something to you, but deep down it's much more than that. So this situation has really humbled us in that way, where we just can't judge when people are at their lowest, and we just when we can be a blessing to others, be a blessing to others, because we can say we've been there, done that, we know how it feels, and we're gonna be there for people. So long story short, I became pregnant again, and we kind of fell into the same situation where I couldn't find a stable job. You know, my mom helped me a lot with watching my baby and watching my babies now, and I still do side jobs here and there, aka Uber. And that didn't start till recently, because you know, my youngest needed me a lot, because she's strictly only nurses. She does not take a bottle, so I really couldn't look for a job when my baby needed me to feed her every 2 hours, you know, because I couldn't even pump and give her a bottle, because she just did not like the bottle. She'd make faces. She still does. My husband has been blessed a lot by the job that he got when we first got our apartment. It's been such a huge blessing, and shout out to McNichols Company, you know, and his manager Mo, which I am really grateful for. You know, he's been very understanding in everything we've gone through, in giving my husband time off with the baby, and he's just a very kind, understanding family man, you know. And my husband and I have really been blessed by this company, and they have other locations in the country. And so about a month ago, maybe a little more, I told my husband, I was like, why don't we try to move out of state? You know, like, we, not gonna lie to you guys, like, I'm not even kidding you, like, some people, you know, will look at us when we tell them, like, we've looked, we've applied, and nothing has come through, and people will look at us like, they don't even have to say it, but just their faces would be like, did you really look? Did you really try? Like, you know, we see a bunch of for rent signs, you know, like, and we had people start sending us for rent signs, and I appreciate those who tried. And you know, I asked a few people, you know, hey, if you see anything, let me know. And I did have a few people, and I kid you not, guys, like, when you ask God to open the doors when it's his will, and then if it's not his will, and you tell him, Lord, shut them, like, God can't be any much louder, guys. I kid you not. And I cannot, you know, I just can't put it into words, you know, because we strongly believe in the power of prayer and the power of seeking God's guidance. And, you know, those are our favorite words. Like, Lord, if it's your will, let it be done. Open the doors completely for it to happen. But if it's not your will, Lord, just shut them. Like, do not let us go through it if it's not your will. And every time we called for an apartment, every time we put in an application for an apartment, you know, doors just bam, like, shut, like, right in our face. Like we should have gotten the hint by the third time that we called, but we continued for a fourth, fifth, sixth time. And you know, either the apartments were only 1 bedrooms, okay, or you know, the ones that were 2 bedrooms, we literally had 3 people tell us, sorry, don't want to rent it to you guys. And at this point, my youngest wasn't born yet. Like, it was just me, my husband, and my daughter, and I was pregnant. And I don't know if it was because of the babies. I don't know if it was because of, you know what? I do know. It's because it wasn't God's will, you know? Like, every single time, like, it was just no. And those, like, either, like I said, it was either 1 bedrooms, or it was people who straight up told us, we do not want to rent it to you, or would tell us, meet us at this time and this day, and I'll bring the contract and we can sign, and you can give your deposit in first month's rent. We would show up, wait there for an hour, and then call into the next day, keep calling. Finally they answer, I already rented it to someone else. Like, but you told me to meet you. Like, what? This is why I'm saying, like, God couldn't have been any more louder, and that's what we believe in, okay? I'm just gonna put it out there from now on. Like, you're gonna hear me mention God a lot, because that's what we believe in, okay? We believe in God, we believe in Jesus Christ, and you know, we believe in the power of prayer, okay? And I'm telling you, I'm telling you, it was not meant to be. And you know, we even were like, all right, well, if we can't rent, you know, if people don't want to rent to us, then let's just buy. And that door started to like literally, this is the door, we're knocking on it, and that door like peeked open, and right when we were getting to like a good point, it went on us again. And I'm like, what is going on, you know? And I literally got to the point like, why us, you know? We're just trying to have a place of our own to raise our daughters, just be, you know? And I'm like, why is this happening to us? And you know, and like I told you guys earlier, I just got to the point where you know, I told my husband, I was like, what if I try moving out of state? You know, it's something that we've put up in the air before, and we said, you know, by the time our oldest Loriana is gonna start kindergarten, then that's when we will move. Like, we'll be in our final destination, according to us, because we don't know what's gonna happen in the future, but we'll make it to our final destination when Loriana is ready to start kindergarten. Like, she'll start kindergarten in a new state. God's like, you're moving now, okay? Because as soon as we started looking into moving out of state, all the doors opened, guys. All the doors opened, okay? Like, we're like, when we said, all right, like, this is gonna be our confirmation. If this works out, then we move on to the next step. Okay, now if this works out, then we move on to the next step. Okay, that worked out. Okay, now it's like, okay, now we just gotta wait for a job opening to open in the state that we want to move to. Okay, and most of you, as you're watching this, you're like, you didn't even have to say you're moving out of state. Like, we already know where you're moving to because I've mentioned it. It's in my heart. I've shared it with so many people. And the crazy thing, guys, is when I told my husband, like, hey, let's start looking into moving out of town. Okay, I can't go on without telling you guys. The state is Texas. We are moving to Texas. Everything is big in Texas. We're going to Texas, guys. Texas. Okay. Like, for those that I've shared, that, like, my personal people in my life, my closest people that know that Texas is where my heart is at, because we have family there and I visit it, and every time I visit, it's just, oh, it feels so peaceful. It feels like home. It feels perfect, and it just hurts so much every time we leave. And you know, we've warned people in the past, like, every time we come back from vacation in Texas, we're like, we're eventually moving to Texas. We warned everybody, okay? Right now, everything's happening so fast that people are like, whoa, where did this come from? And we're gonna be like, whoa, we told you years ago we were gonna move, okay? And like I'm saying, the crazy thing is, when I told my husband, hey, let's move to Texas, we kept it to ourselves. We kept it to ourselves until things seemed like they were really working out. And you know, I would have conversations with certain people. Like, we went to a birthday party with some friends, and you know, one of my friends was like, so when are you guys moving to Texas? And I'm like, do you know something that I don't? Like, because at this point we were still testing the waters, you know. And then I had another friend say, you know, like, oh, we want to move to Oklahoma, and I was like, where's Oklahoma? And they're like, oh, it's right above Texas, so whenever you move to Texas, you know, and if we move to Oklahoma, like, we'll be right there. And I was like, who told you I'm moving to Texas? You know, like, I was like, Lord, you know. Even my sister, you know, when I was like sharing with her like how frustrated I was that doors were closing, and you know, that we wanted to start looking again, you know, she stays quiet, and then she goes, what if a door opens for you guys in Texas? Would you take it? And I said, yeah. And she gave me this, like, she was sad. She's like, you really would move? I was like, yeah. And again, me and my husband had already thrown it up in the air, and she's like, would you take me? And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, but she made another sad face. She's like, but Dad doesn't want to go, and I don't want to leave Dad. And I was like, well, you better start praying, you know. And that has been the toughest thing, guys. Oh my goodness, I was having so much anxiety. I have been wanting to tell my dad for like 2-3 weeks already, and it just stabbed me in my heart so much every single time just thinking about it. I tried to talk to him twice, and You know, it's just hard to talk to my dad, you know, like we're not big communicators, we're not big emotional people. Yet like I told my dad in my conversation, like I was like, Dad, I'm exactly like you. Like I don't like change. I don't like dealing with like big changes and moving big things around, and you know, I'm not big on that, and you know, and it's so scary to me. And you know, even to like tell my family that we're moving, it's like because it's so unclear like what's gonna happen. Like, is my family gonna move with us? As I'm so close to them, they depend so much on me. I depend so much on my mom, you know. So it's like, are they gonna move with us? Are they gonna stay? And so and I'm like, I can't avoid it anymore, because I was seeing how fast things were moving, and I was like, I can't avoid telling them anymore. Like, I need to tell them. So I told my dad on a Sunday, and then I told my siblings actually today when I'm recording this video on a Wednesday, and I'm like, it's happening faster than what I thought, so it's time to let you guys know. And yeah, like literally we had our first confirmation on a Monday, and then Wednesday we're like, all right, you know, the only big thing that needs to happen is a job to open up in Texas. And I told my husband, I was like, do not wait till they tell you that a spot opened up. I was like, if you have a way to check that a position opened up, then you go in there and check. Actually, my uncle gave me this advice. And so he's like, yeah, they post the jobs every Friday. And I was like, all right, so then check on Friday. And he checks on Friday, and there's a job opening in Houston. And at first we're like, oh no, that's not it, because we were looking for Dallas. And like I said, like through it all, like we have seen that when it's God's will, he'll make it happen, and when it's not, he won't make it happen. And you know, his thoughts and his plans for us are always greater than ours. And so at this point we're like, if Dallas isn't working out, we're just like, again, God, like if this is your will, then allow it to happen. You know, like if you want us in Houston, then make everything happen for us to be in Houston. And my husband talked out at his job, and they're like, oh, we'll try to see if we can do anything to get you to Dallas, but if not, like, were you willing to take Houston? And at this point my husband was like, yeah, like definitely, because we had already said, like, if it's God's will, then we'll end up in Houston. And yeah, and today they told my husband, the job is all yours. You let us know when you're ready to go, when you want this to get moving. And you know, they're taking a lot of the old and bringing a lot of new at the Houston location. And so they're like, this is the perfect timing to bring you in as well. You know, the location my husband is at here in Chicago, you know, is one of the biggest and newest ones. So you know, a lot of the new stuff, according to what I understand, a lot of the new stuff, you know, that my husband knows here, they're gonna need help getting to know as they bring in the new stuff in Houston. So my husband would be a huge blessing, a huge help to the company out in Houston. And so today is June 26th, and we're shooting to move at the beginning of August. And I haven't cried yet, and I don't know when I'm gonna cry. It's just all the open doors have been a big in my face, and I'm just like trying to soak it all in. And it's just so crazy how fast everything's moving. It's just amazing, you know, again, to see how God's plans are always greater. And we're scared, we're sad for leaving our families behind, our friends behind, or everything we know behind, and moving to a total complete new place where we have no one that we know. And yes, we have family in Texas, but where we're gonna move specifically, both our families are either 3 hours away or 4 hours away from Houston. And so other than holidays and birthdays, we're more than likely gonna be on our own, and that's scary. That is so scary, you know. But one thing that my husband's brother told us is, you know, that we just keep repeating, and you know, is like, oh, it's so true, is anything that is good for you is never gonna be easy to do. Like, if things that are good for us were easy to do, oof, we'd all live so great, you know. But it's when it's hard, it's when it's hard to make a change, it's when it's hard to move, it's when it's hard, you know, to do anything that it's best for you. You know, letting go of something, you know, that is going to be of good to you is always hard to do. And, you know, starting something that is good for you is always hard to do. And so this move is hard. This move is extremely hard. And we're going to miss everyone that we're leaving behind. The few people that we have told so far, a few of them have cried. My mom has cried. I can tell my brother and sister wanted to cry. My best friend cried. My sister-in-law cried. One of my friends that I have been there for, and I love her dearly, and she moved here from Georgia. She almost cried. I think she kind of did cry as she was walking out of my door. And I know there's gonna be a lot more tears. And some of the people we know, or you guys are finding out through this video, that we're moving. And it's just so hard for me to pick and choose who I was gonna tell face to face. Like, there's just so many people, and I don't have a lot of time to tell everyone face to face that we're leaving. And I'm sorry if that hurts you, but know that I have you in mind as I'm recording this. Know that, you know, it doesn't make you any less important in my life. Like, everyone that we leave behind here has been a huge blessing in our lives, and we're gonna miss dearly. But it's happening. It's happening, and when it's God moving, we can't stop it. So stay tuned for all the craziness that's about to happen. So we gotta start getting rid of stuff that we don't want to take. We gotta start packing. We gotta start dealing with like paperwork of the girls' insurance, the girls' doctor, medical records, all these fun stuff. So stay tuned, guys. And I'm sorry this video was a little long, but it was just, you know, trying to catch everyone up on what's been going on, because we've kind of failed at that. But like I said in my past video, you know, we want to start bringing you guys along, and you know, we appreciate your support. And you know, another reason why I wanted to start this up and you know, continue it better is because we're moving, and you know, I want to still share with, you know, our friends and family that we're leaving here, you know, our crazy adventures, you know, and along the way bring new people to follow along our crazy adventures. So, you know, if you're not family or friends and you're watching this, I welcome you to be my friend in our family. So, you know, hit the like button, comment, you know, comment down below any words of encouragement for us. Like, if you've gone through a big move, like let us know what was the hardest thing for you, what was the easiest, how are you coping. You know, subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you guys soon. Bye bye.